Hi, welcome back. In this video, we will continue where we left off in the last video. Form 1040, line 10, which is adjustments to income. For line 10, we will need to use Schedule 1, Part 2. The first line of Schedule 1, Part 2 is line 11. On line 11 of Schedule 1, educator expenses are listed. We will again be looking at the taxpayer, Emily Green. Emily had $950 of qualified educator expenses. Qualified expenses include ordinary and necessary expenses paid in connection with books, supplies, equipment, including computer equipment, software and services, and other materials used in the classroom. Because her expenses were for science supplies, she can deduct this on her Schedule 1. However, only $250 of her expenses are deductible, so we will write $250 on line 11 of Schedule 1. Line 12 is used to report unreimbursed job expenses for Army reservists, performing artists, and fee-basis government officials, which is derived from IRS Form 2106. As you can see, IRS Form 2106 is used to fill out employee business expenses for expenses such as vehicle expenses or meal expenses. Line 13 is the health savings account deduction. A health savings account is a savings account reserved for medical expenses. Funds that are contributed to the account are tax deductible on a taxpayer's return, regardless of whether the taxpayer itemizes deductions or not. Line 14 is for active members of the military who are moving due to a military order to deduct their moving expenses. Line 15 is for the deductible part of self-employment tax from Schedule SE. Emily has a small business selling science kits during summer break, so she will have a deductible part of self-employment tax. How to fill out Schedule SE will be explained in the Small Business and Depreciation course, but for right now we can go on to Schedule SE and take the amount from line 13, which is $529. 50% of self-employment tax is deductible, and this goes on line 15 of Schedule 1. Moving on to line 16, which is for taxpayers who are self-employed to deduct their earnings, such as accumulated interest on contributions to self-employed, simple, and qualified plans. Line 17 is for self-employed taxpayers who may be able to deduct the amount paid for health insurance, which must be established under the business for them, their spouse, and dependent. Line 18 is to report when a withdrawal of funds from a time savings account or deposit type of bank or investment account leads to a penalty that is assessed and charged to the taxpayer. Form 1099 INT Box 2 or Form 1099 OID Box 3 will show the amount of the penalty. This amount is entered on line 18 of Schedule 1. Line 19 is used to report alimony paid. For divorce decrees entered before January 1st, 2019, alimony is treated as taxable income to the receiving spouse and deducted from the gross income of the paying spouse. Line 20 is used to report tax-deductible contributions to a traditional IRA. This is discussed in the IRA and other pension plans reading assignment. Line 21 is used for the student loan interest deduction. If the taxpayer's modified adjusted gross income is less than $85,000 or $170,000 if filing a joint return, there is a special deduction allowed for paying interest on a student loan used for higher education from an eligible educational institution. The student loan interest deduction is the smaller of $2,500 or the interest the student paid during the tax year. Emily did have student loan interest, and we will return back to this line in a minute. Line 23 is for the Archer MSA deduction. Archer MSA is a tax-exempt trust or custodial account set up with a financial institution, such as a bank or insurance company. Contributions a taxpayer makes to the account can be used to pay healthcare expenses not covered by their insurance plan. Line 24 is for other adjustments. Some examples of other adjustments include jury duty pay, deductible expenses related to the renting of personal property, and the non-taxable amount of Olympic and Paralympic prize money. Line 25 is to add up all other adjustments. Line 26 is used to total the taxpayer's adjustments to income. We are now going to return back to line 21 and use the student loan interest deduction worksheet to see how much student loan interest deduction Emily qualifies for. Emily had $3,070 of student loan interest. Pulling up the worksheet, it asks on the first line to enter the total amount paid in 2022 on qualified student loans. The maximum amount that can be deducted is $2,500, so that is the maximum amount that can be entered here. Line 2 of the worksheet asks for the amount from Form 1040, line 9. Line 3 asks for the total amount from Part 2 of Schedule 1, which is $779 for Emily. Line 4 asks to subtract line 3 from line 2. If this is less than $70,000, then the taxpayer is able to deduct their student loan interest up to $2,500. If it was more than $70,000, you would have to calculate the amount allowable to deduct. Because Emily's income was less than $70,000, she can deduct $2,500 of her student loan interest. Emily does not have anything on lines 22 and on, so once we fill in line 21, we can move on to line 26, where we will add Emily's adjustments to gross income, which is $250 plus $529 plus $2,500, which equals $3,279. We are going to go back to Form 1040 and fill out line 10 with the amount of $3,279. On line 11, subtract line 10 from line 9, and we end up with Emily's adjusted gross income. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video in which we will go over the next line, line 12 of Form 1040.